What's going on, guys? It's Shane, also known as the Pittsburgh PA, and I'm finally back with another video. Just before we get into it, I just kind of wanted to let you guys know that I took a break from filming because I was going through the rigors of PA school, which I'm sure a lot of you can relate to, and I just really felt like I needed to focus on school to become the best PA that I could become. And so I kind of took a step away from making videos, but now that I'm working and finally actually in my career, I feel like I have the time to make some videos for you guys to kind of share some of the knowledge that I've gained over the years and hopefully help you guys out if you're going through PA school right now, if you're thinking about PA school, or maybe you're in clinical practice. And if you are, then hopefully some of this stuff will also be helpful and valuable to you as well. So today's video, we're gonna be talking about four things that I used during clinical rotations. Clinical year is a great time. It's a time for a lot of learning, a lot of hands-on experience, and once you're out of the classroom, you can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I think that making that transition from didactic to clinical year can be a little bit difficult, a little bit scary, but I have some resources for you guys that I use during my clinical year to help me on rotations, to help me study for my EORs, and just to overall help strengthen my knowledge that I learned during my didactic years. So let's just get right into it. So the number one thing that I have, this is the EMRA Antibiotic Guide. This is something not so much for EOR studying, but just to have on me. I actually didn't have this, and a preceptor had given it to me. So this is the 17th edition, but this is great because if you look at it, it goes through all kinds of different things, and it's broken down by different categories such as eye, pulmonary, environmental exposures. It breaks down what antibiotics you can use for different bugs. So I use this a lot during like my family med, my ER rotations, things where there's a lot of information to know, and sometimes matching the antibiotic to the bug can be a little bit difficult, especially when you're making that transition from didactic to clinical year and you're trying to put it all together. That is something that I struggled with. So having this book on me kind of helped me solidify some of the knowledge that I knew I already had, but to look it up and feel better about what I was doing and what my preceptor was doing and prescribing for our patients. So definitely recommend the EMRA. You can also download the app on your phone. They update it. I think it's like $6 a year, but super useful and super handy to have on you when you're on rotations. The next guide that I want to show you guys is the AAPA little miniature medical reference. It's actually called the Maxwell Quick Medical Reference. This book, I believe, is available through the AAPA. Your program may also give it to you. And I think when you're in your didactic year, they hand this to you and you're like, what am I gonna do with this? Like, a lot of this stuff looks overwhelming. But as you go through rotations, and especially if you're in clinical practice now, this is extremely useful. It has the ACLS algorithms listed there for you. It also has how to write a note, which is actually awesome, especially if you're a student. Trying to learn how to write notes can be a little bit difficult as well. And then it has conversions, dermatome distributions, things that aren't necessarily sticking in your head. They might be things that are a little bit difficult to remember, but to have that resource on rotations was definitely game-changing. So if you have it, open it up, utilize it, and if you're in clinical practice now, I'm sure that you already know about how great this can actually be. So definitely my second resource that I would recommend to you guys. Now getting into more resources for EOR studying. This is stuff that you may not necessarily take to your rotations with you, but things once you get home or wherever you're at that you're going to use to study. This is a lifesaver, Pants Pearls. This is an older edition, but it's been great. It's served me well, and it's well loved. As you can see, there's a lot of writing and things in it. I use this religiously throughout my clinical year. I think it's great. It's not necessarily everything that you need to know, but it is a great overview, especially if you're trying to solidify information after you're reading through it in other materials. I think it picks out the highlights and allows you to kind of recognize the big overarching things that you need to know. So Pants Prep Pros, there's a new version out now, and I believe that the new version has a revamped renal section, which is really helpful because I know a lot of that stuff can be very difficult, especially for new grads and people who are going through their clinical year. And then the last reference, I actually don't have a book for you, but it is Smarty Pants. Smarty Pants is fantastic. I swear by Smarty Pants. I'm a Smarty Pants fanatic. I used it throughout my entire clinical year, and I used it to study for my pants actually. Honestly, between Pants Prep Pros to solidify things and Smarty Pants, I'd say the majority of my studying came from Smarty Pants and just going through the topic list for the EORs. Now, I will caution you that that worked for me. Everybody is different. When you find out what works for you studying, I would say just stick to that ultimately because that's gonna suit you best. But for me, I was able to go through the Smarty Pants, use that to study, and it served me very well. I did well enough on the EORs, I passed the pants, and I really love that resource. I love the test, I love the breakdown of different topics, and I think it allows you to get through material in an efficient way. So I would definitely recommend Smarty Pants subscription for your clinical year, and make sure you get it in the time frame to when you're taking the pants so you can use it to help you study for the pants as well. I know a lot of people would get it early and then it would expire before they're taking their pants test and they can't utilize it. So anyways, guys, I'm so happy to be back, so happy to be making videos for you guys. Please hit the like and subscribe down below if you haven't already to stay up to date for when I'm posting content. I'm hopeful to be posting videos every Sunday and trying to stay consistent now that I'm actually working. This has been the Pittsburgh PA signing off.